You check this. Is this good down here, or do you need it here?
Yeah, quite close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite close. Okay.
Good. Okay, I'm going to start with the obvious one, I'm afraid. So we have to cover the basics. So can you tell me what it means to you to race at Le Mans and become the youngest driver ever to do that?
Yeah, I think it means a lot to me. You know, this is a very special event, a very historic race in general. It's one that I've grown up around my entire life. You know, from a young age, I remember even if I necessarily wasn't a big fan of endurance racing, I was always a fan of Le Mans. And you know, watching the documentary on Audi, The Truth in 24, when I was little, growing up, you know, that was kind of something that I would always default to watching when I was traveling to races. So I'm very familiar with the event, and to do it at my age and to know that, you know, no matter what happens, I'll get to be a part of the history of this event is something very special to me. So I think it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Okay, so you've had your first taste of the track at the test. Um, did it live up to the expectations? And what's the biggest challenge for you in a P2 car around here? How did it feel when you rolled out there?
You know, I would say it definitely lived up to the expectations. You know, it's a great track. It's a beautiful, nice country road that you get to drive on while you're out there, and you know, I'll say that it does offer a lot of challenges. You know, I think from a P2 perspective, you've got a lot of downforce, so you're really trying to fight the car, especially through, you know, Porsche curves, and there's a lot of G loads. So you're taking corners at, you know, 180, and you're really pushing the car to its limit, and that's something special about this place. You know, I don't think there's a lot of tracks on the calendar that offer the high-speed corners that are here, and the length of this track makes it a challenge in itself. You know, every lap is you're seeing something for the first time, but it's just amazing. You know, I think when I did my first laps here, when I did
Just
when I did my first laps here, I think in general, you know, you might see turn one, but the next time you see turn one again, it's been 3 minutes. So it's a different place to learn. It's a different track to drive, and it offers its own challenge in a unique way.
Okay, great. So how did it feel for you to see Josh head out for the first time onto Le Sar? I know you raced yourself in the past and you inspired Josh to race from like the age of 2 in go-karts. So how did it feel seeing him do something that's a dream for so many people? And did you ever think you'd get to this place?
This has been a surreal journey for me, for Josh's mom, and I. He underplays when he says he watched Truth in 24 when he was little. He watched it hundreds of times. I mean, I don't know how a kid can watch the same thing over and over and over again. But so getting here was a bucket list item for me. Just seeing this race, let alone, you know, coming here and watching your son do it. So very surreal. You know, super proud of him, and try not to get in the way and make a bigger deal of it than it is, and just let him do his thing, which he seems to do in a very calm way, which is very impressive to me. I wouldn't be as calm about it if I was him. But yeah, I'm just trying to sit back and enjoy it.
And you must be obviously hugely proud. Is there like a tiny little bit of you that's also slightly jealous when Josh heads out onto the track and does something so amazing?
Yeah, actually, not really. Have you ever sat in a P2 car? I have. There's no way I could drive that car. The visibility is horrible. It's not comfortable. It's hot. Uh, so, you know, I love the history of it, and I guess there's, you know, maybe a tiny, tiny part of it about, you know, wanting to be closer to that history, but I could not do what these drivers do. I know just enough to know how hard it is and how physical it is, and even more how mentally demanding it is. And so I'm impressed by all the drivers that do this.
Okay, Josh, you're talking about the challenges, physical and mental. Tell us a bit about how you prepare for Le Mans, generally how your teammates and how United have helped you along that journey, because you've got some really experienced teammates, and I'm sure they're passing on a lot of that knowledge.
I think in general, you know, preparing for Le Mans is kind of, when I'm preparing for a race in general, I think it kind of starts with the season preparation, you know. I have a trainer that comes to my house 3 times a week, and we work on strength training and endurance training there. And from there, it's kind of just building on what we already have. You know, I think the race like this is something that it's hard to train for because it's so long, and the mental demand is something else that can be quite challenging to train for. You know, we have certain tools like Synaptech is one of them, which, you know, can train your brain to kind of think a little bit faster and work through problems in a more simple manner. But when it comes to actually training for an event like this, it's very difficult. But United and the guys here and my teammates, you know, they help you through it. And I think, you know, especially after Daytona, my body's a little bit more used to kind of what's to come, and I know how long you're going to end up spending in the car.
Okay, and I guess you're feeling a certain amount of pressure, but I just wonder if you get to enjoy the moment as well. It's such a special thing to do, and if you could describe maybe the feeling when you're sat in the car, the air jacks drop, you've got a fresh set of slicks on. Do you enjoy that, and what does that feel like when you head out onto the track?
I do enjoy it. You know, I think you probably tell from my smile, but you know, I think, you know, air jacks in particular is something that was new to me, and even pit stops, you know, coming from USF 2000 and single seaters in the Road Indy was something that everything was completely new to me. So to get to experience all this and to be part of the event, you know, I do think that I get to enjoy it a lot more than you know, maybe the hard work. So there's a lot of hard work, but I definitely do get to enjoy the event and kind of sit back and take it all in.
And tell us about, for fans and for the fans and spectators, the magic of Le Mans really starts when the sun goes down. So tell me, from a driver's point of view, what's different? What's different about driving at night? Does it actually make it easier because your peripheral vision is less, so you're just focused on those points, or is it much, much harder just because of the lack of clarity a long way ahead?
Well, you know, driving at night is something different than driving in the day. You know, it takes a different skill set. You know, when you're driving in the daytime, you're able to see much, much further down the Mulsanne. You know, I think I haven't driven here at night yet, so I can't tell you here in particular, but I can use Sebring as an example. You know, coming from Sebring and driving Sebring in the day versus at night, it's a much different challenge. You know, you come into turn 7, which is the hairpin after the long sweeper, and when you're coming down in turn 7, you know, you can't really see much in night. In the daytime, you can see your brake markers, you can see the turn in, and there's a much different atmosphere and feel, whereas at night, you know, you're looking for the brake markers, and it's all based on muscle memory. You know, I go, oh, there's a bump here, I brake, and then turn, and you can't see anything, so you're kind of, the car has a very short range that it can see in front of it, and after that, it's pretty dark. So, you know, it's a much different challenge driving at night, and here will be, I think, something different to experience, but you know, it's something that you get used to quite quickly, and from what I've heard, the brake markers and stuff here are quite easy to see, so it kind of helps you during the race.
Okay, and Josh obviously is in the lucky position that he's sort of in charge of his own destiny when he's out in the car. How do you think you'll feel as he heads out into the night? I guess you might be more nervous than Josh because he at least has got his destiny in his hands.
I guarantee you I will be more nervous than the kid. That's always, you know, been the case since, you know, since he was little, and karting, and when he transitioned to cars, and I think it's always been the case that, you know, the parents watching and nervous the whole time, and the driver is nervous, and they should be, but once they get going, they're not. They're too focused to be nervous. So I guarantee you I will be, you know, the nervous one. He'll be fine once things get underway. He'll just do his thing, and I will feel so much better when he's out of the car for the last time at the end, you know, near the end of this race, and I'll relax then.
Okay, and what impresses you most about Josh? He's obviously doing incredible things at a young age, but still seems to fit in doing musical instruments in school and everything else. So what impresses you, and how do you ensure that he gets some semblance of almost normal teenage life away from the track? It must be a difficult balance.
Yeah, so a couple questions there. So first of all, let's talk about the balance, you know, piece. He's definitely in race car mode at the track, and folks often talk about how mature he is and how calm he is, and sort of beyond his years, and that's true at the track when he's in race mode. But I assure you, when he's not at the track and he's around his friends and his mom and no one's around, he's a typical 16-year-old, you know, young man. Yeah, so we'll let him keep doing his thing. What impresses me, there's a lot of things actually, but just to focus on a couple. he is just amazingly focused, and he has been from a very young age, which actually I wasn't worried about it, but I mean, what are the chances that when you're a toddler you know what you want to do? And you know, we tried to introduce him to other things along the way. He's played a ton of different sports. What have he done? Basketball, baseball,
Soccer,
lacrosse,
hockey.
and probably missing something. And so at least a season of those things just to see if he enjoyed them and if maybe something else was going to get his attention. But he did well in those things, and he enjoyed it. But he just kept, I just want to race. I just want to drive. So that focus is just impresses me. But maybe the thing that impresses me the most is just how calm he is. You know, you learn a lot about drivers listening to radio traffic, and it's been a while now that I mean, I can't possibly. What can I do? I don't know how to drive the way he drives. I can't help. And so I can sit back and try to enjoy it and listen to radio traffic with the different teams and the different co-drivers that he has and see, you know, those differences. And I don't think I've yet encountered listening on the radio a driver that's as calm as he is, no matter what happens in the race. If he has some bad luck, if he has an issue, if the car has a problem, he just is just this very calm demeanor. And if you watch a video and you watch his driving style, he's just incredibly relaxed in the car, which I also think helps in the endurance racing because he doesn't get super tense in the car to help tire yourself out. He's just incredibly calm and relaxed, and as someone who maybe isn't as much that way, that's impressive.
And do you feel that genuinely yourself? Do you feel calm always in the car? Is that your sort of peaceful place?
You know, I think that I do feel calm in a car, and I do think that it is kind of something to do with it's very quiet and peaceful in there. But also it's kind of my happy place. So when I'm there, you know, I'm focused on what I'm doing, and I'm able to stay quite calm and work under pressure quite well. So I think that is some of it, yeah.
Okay, and finally, for both of you, what's your dream scenario this weekend? What does Le Mans 2022 play out for you guys?
You can go first.
You know, I do my very, very best not to get ahead of things. I mean, who doesn't dream about winning this event or getting a podium in this event? And if you think about all the things that have to go right for that to happen, it's pretty mind-boggling. So I try to be more realistic, and I just want him to drive as well as he did at Sebring, drive as well as he has at Spa and in the other endurance races that he's been in, and things will work out just fine.
Well, for me, obviously, my dream is to win the race, so I won't be as modest. You know, I think there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and it's 24 hours, so anything could happen, but, you know, I think it is my goal and the team's goal to win, and I think we have a car and a crew capable of doing it.